Come on, let me take you to all the places that I have traveled in the last 50 years.
We are at Chennai airport. Our trip to Addis Ababa is starting. Hopefully we are going to have fun and we are going to have a lot of nice things to see.
Welcome back, my friends. Today we are embarking on a journey to a less known country in the African continent, Ethiopia. You know why we are going there? To meet my grandma. Not my grandma alone, the grandma of us all. We are going to be there in the country for about 2 weeks, exploring all the places, and of course, most importantly, the Ark of the Covenant.
Complete our immigration formalities, waiting for the flight.
Now, I realize this trip is going to be a long one, especially this flight. We are going to transit through Jeddah in Saudi Arabia before arriving in Addis Ababa. The transit in Jeddah is going to be long. I'm wondering how I'm going to manage it. Let's see.
We are at the Jeddah airport, waiting to have our dinner.
Compared to many international airports, Jeddah airport was a little bit small and crowded, but still you had all the facilities. Since we had a lot of time to spend at Jeddah airport before we board to our next flight to Ethiopia, I thought I'll explain some of the background on this journey. For me, it all started when we were on a trip to the Sinai area in Egypt. Yes, you must have seen my previous video in which we walked up all the way to the top of that mountain where the God gave the Ten Commandments to the Jews. While walking down the slopes of Mount Sinai, my mind started thinking, if there was a Ark of the Covenant, where could that be now? I started doing research from that day. There were a lot of claims about the Ark of the Covenant, which is supposed to be in many places on earth. But the most convincing thing for me was it was supposed to be in Ethiopia now. It was because of the legend of Solomon and Sheba, the queen of Ethiopia, and I started reading about it. There was so much of speculations which interested me, and I decided I should visit Ethiopia to see it for myself. We flew along the Red Sea. On one side it was a desert, and on the other side it was comparatively green. Now that we are flying over the landmass of Ethiopia, I thought I'll talk to you about one more important reason why I wanted to visit Ethiopia. All of us know that Africa was the cradle of civilization. A lot of human remains have been dug out of this area, and everybody believes the human race started from here and then migrated to different parts of the world. It was here in Ethiopia that they found the oldest human remains, almost 3.2 million years old. A girl stood straight up and walked with a child on her hip, and they called her Lucy. And she was supposed to be the mother of all the human race, which started afterwards. This was one main reason that I wanted to visit Ethiopia, to see my possible grandmother. Why? The possible grandmother of us all. I also learned that this is the only country in Africa which was not colonized by any European power, and their culture is rooted so deep right from the time of Solomon, the king of Jews, and they have so many cities where you could find a lot of proof for such great civilization. Of course, I wanted to see them all. So I decided to take on this trip of 2 weeks in Ethiopia, visiting different cities on the northern side of the country, enjoying their different cultures and history. I am really happy that I am able to share my experience with you on this trip, and I'm sure this video and this series will be of a great interesting feature for you.
We have reached Addis Ababa. This is our first day. Mr. Lungo is coming, he is our guide, and we are planning to go and meet my grandmother, Lucy, today.
In this series on Ethiopia, I'm going to show you my day to day travel, and I'm sure you'll be feeling as if you're traveling along with me. Let's start our travel.
So we are having a panoramic tour of Addis Ababa.
Addis Ababa, yeah.
It looks much like India for me.
Really? Yeah, Ethiopian culture and Indian.
Yes.
It's a bit similar. I think
Now we are entering the National Museum of Ethiopia.
There were a lot of exhibits outside the museum depicting their struggle against the possible colonization. It was interesting to see most of them.
yeah, and that's the second war, but the first war, it was 1896. So they used this canyon for fighting against Italians.
Uh-huh.
So we Ethiopians announced the colonizations, free from colonizations, after the war of 1896 in the Adwa, that's around nearby Aksum.
Good.
That's King Haile Selassie, while he was teaching the students, time is gold, used it.
This is Lungo, our guide. He is going to take us around Ethiopia for the next 2 weeks. We are planning to have a lot of fun.
Museum in Addis Ababa, all over in Ethiopia, and also it's famous in Africa, where you can see now more than 1 million equipment inside the museum. Almost you can say like the whole story of Ethiopian history you can find in this museum. So let's go to see the details of the museum.
I should certainly say that we were very lucky to have Lungo as our guide. He was very well informed, very friendly, and he made our stay in Ethiopia so comfortable for 2 weeks.
Whom do you think she is?
She is all our grandmother.
Yes,
2.7 million years back. She was walking by the side of River Wash.
You know why they call it Lucy? The founder of Lucy, his name is called Donald Johnson, 1974. Found Lucy in 1974. He's an American archaeologist. Why he said Lucy? While he's finding fossils, he was listening the music is called Lucy in the Sky with Diamond, the Beatles song.
Okay, I read that.
Yeah.
Now I remember, yes. Yes,
So here what you see, like
yes,
the white,
yes.
which is not found yet. This is the black.
Oh,
You're going to see inside the museum later on, which is a 40% of the Lucy's fossils.
only 40% were found.
Yeah, 40%. How old do you think when she died?
I think she must have been less than 20.
Less than 20? Yeah, you are like 21 years old.
21. Okay, I narrowly missed her.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's like 31 kilograms weight.
30.
Yeah. And
There were so many interesting things to see in that museum, but I'm not going to burden you with a lot of such things, only concentrate on those 2 things that we came here to see.
this is a pelvis of chimpanzee, and this is a pelvis of Aripithecus ramidus, and this is a pelvis of Australopithecus afarensis, like Lucy and Ardi. And when you compare to the chimpanzee, the pelvis are closely related. But how they separate this is a female and this is a male, because of the female's pelvis are mostly big.
The beauty of the nature is the women, they have to deliver baby. So their pelvis is not the same like what is for men.
Yeah.
And it is bigger. And as the evolution grows, the pelvis is growing. It is getting bigger and broader and broader. Because natural selection, the lady has to give birth.
See how excited I am? I think I am talking more than Lungo, the guy who is supposed to explain things to me.
So the recent DNA shows like human being is closely related to is monkeys. So there are two significance of fossils that a lot of people they take their flight to see these two bones. This one is Ardi. Her name is Ardi.
This is our
Yeah.
Pray to Lucy. Pray to Lucy.
Yeah, like Lucy is 1974. Ardi they found is 1994.
1994.
And this is 60% of the body is found. This is only 40% of the body. This is 4 million years and this is 3.2 million years. What's the difference? This is a species is they can walk fastly to the trees and they can go whatever they like. Lucy's she's very very slow. So Lucy, and this is 40% of the body is found. So Lucy, when she was in life, she walked like that. That's just the sample. And she was 1.1 meter tall and 31 kilogram, almost 30 kilogram.
So this is Lucy.
Yeah. So when
My
Lucy
grandmother?
died, she's 21 years old.
She was 21.
Yeah, 21. But scientific, they think she got Lucy, she got one child. Her name is Salah. Over there, you see the smallest child of Lucy.
Lucy. Okay.
Yeah, also this Australopithecus afarensis, that means southern ape. 3.6 million years, and this is adult, 3.6 million years, and that's lower jaw, and that's upper jaw, and that's a knee joints, yeah, knee joints. If she's a child of Lucy, maybe this one might be a father.
This is the model of
40%.
Lucy,
Oh,
how she should have been.
நீங்க தான் லூசி லூசின்னு ஆசைப்பட்டு நீங்க போங்க நான் I'll take a picture.
Due to the time constraint and the length of this video, let us fast forward all the other important things that we saw in this museum and head straight to the next exhibit of our interest, which is Oxum and the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, Queen of Sheba. Yes, Solomon and Sheba.
Yeah, Queen of Sheba.
It was an interesting story about Solomon and Sheba, and this I'll talk to you when we are actually in Oxum and in front of the church where this Ark of the Covenant is supposed to be held today.
If you come to my room, say
This is the palace of the Queen Sheba model. Maybe we will have chance to see it in Oxum.
so. In the first century,
The museum had many more interesting things, right from evolution till modern day, their developments, their weapons, their dresses. But as before, unfortunately, I have to rush through this. Feeling great satisfaction after meeting our grandmother and learning about the history of the area, we headed towards our next interesting feature of the day, dinner and dance.
This is our first night at Addis Ababa. We are having dinner at a restaurant with local music. This is a dish called injera. It looks like our dosa with all different vegetables on it.
Ragi dosa.
The restaurant looks cool.
With their repetitive movements and the electric music, we really felt the charge in the atmosphere of the restaurant. Having had a hearty dinner and an enjoyable music and dance, we had to call it a day and get back to your room because tomorrow we have a long drive to make, about 4 hours drive, and on the way we are going to see some nice things. The beginning of Blue Nile, which I'll be talking to you tomorrow. I'm sure you enjoyed our first day in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, and will stay with me for the whole journey till we complete the circuit of northern Ethiopia. I'm sure you are looking forward to such visits in different countries. And why don't you just subscribe to my channel, make a small like and share this so that you can always be with me. Thanks for watching.